Chapter 2. Kara's Domain. "I'm on my way," shouted Ronan through the calm, sprinting towards the gigantic throne in the forest. Once he arrived, all three of them discussed the battle plan in detail, making sure that they had it secure in their heads. When they had it clear in their minds, they were escorted into the arena, the big dome beneath the throne. As the tallest doors in the world opened, the tension began to rise. Peter, Patricus, and Ronan were all praying this wasn't how they'd die. As they walked in, with caution, they started to hear rhythmic drumming that grew louder and louder as they traversed towards the center of the Colosseum. The soft sand crunched beneath their feet as they stepped closer to one of their inevitable dooms. Suddenly, the drumming stopped, and they began to hear the presenter's voice. It exclaimed, "Schnaveltons and Glorpnops, today we present to you this world's greatest ruler and undefeated champion, Kara Kabua." Patricus, Peter, and Ronan all stood there silently, knowing that at least one of them was going to die in this fight. Slowly, the doors opened in front of them started to creak open. This was their first look of the kaiju that threatened their lives. She had 4 blue glowing eyes, which immediately locked onto her prey, Ronan, Peter, and Patricus. Her stone-like grey mixed with black body was completely still until she let out a huge roar of anger. "Whiskers," said Peter, his eyes widening at the sight before them. "Right on that," agreed Ronan. They both turned to look at Patricus, assuming he would feel the same way. "Hey, before we jump to any conclusions, I think I got a trick up my sleeve," he said confidently. "What could possibly—" Just then there was a huge explosion from behind them. They looked behind to be faced with a mech, half the size of Karakabua. Peter then realized they stood a fair chance of winning. Patricus spread out his arms as the mech picked him up by the waist and placed him in the cockpit. "Told you I had one," he laughed, pulling levers cautiously. Peter and Ronan had no idea how or when he made this, but it was helping them a lot now. Half the size of Kara, a 25% chance they'd win instead of 1%. Now that they were face to face with Kara, they had no idea who would attack first, and if they should. Cheering was just about audible over the deafening, spine-chilling screams of Karakabua. Even with the help of the mech, would they survive? It sure didn't look that way. Suddenly, they found themselves being circled by the beast. It was sniffing them, making sure they weren't capable of killing her, but she found evidence they might be able to do so. Now it was their turn. An army of aliens came running through the door, assisting them and coming to the aid. Old Betty roared in frustration, forcing Ronan, Peter, and Patricus to stagger backwards. This was where their training paid off. Ronan had to use his skills as a samurai, Peter his assassinating, and Patricus his aim. They had to work hard, fight skillfully, and make sure to avoid Kara's limbs. The fight was beginning.